This tutorial was requested by TKG Psychotics. He said, "So how do I change the color on all of them, and how would I add glow? I'm new at Blender." And he said, "And there's no sound. Help." So I told him, I will make a tutorial for those two things in one tutorial. So I wanted to mash all the things together and make this tutorial. What is up? My name is Brennan. Welcome to another Blender Tutorial Tuesday. Today I'm going to be showing you how to change the color, how to customize your audio visualizer. If you're having problems with sound, if you can't hear the sound in Blender, like audio visualizer, if you want the sound to be able to play in the background so that you can hear it while you're playing the audio visualizer, I'll show you how to do that. Another thing I'm going to show you how to do is add glow. In the compositing, we will add that in. And I'm going to try to go slow just so everyone can do this. So even the Blender beginners, the very first, people that are just starting to use Blender will be able to do this. Because I know you will be able to. Once you get the hang of this, once you get the hang of Blender, once you understand it, you will know how to do this faster. You'll learn. It's a process, you know. You start learning and you get faster and faster at it. Okay, so let's start off with the first thing. Let's add in the sound first. We can go to the default setup up here. They have lots of default setups in Blender. Blender has lots of default setups, rather. So we will go to the video editing. You could also do that within Blender. You could split a window and add in a different window like this. You can right click on the line right here. Right click, split area. Oops, I split one down there. But you can do that. I meant to split it up here. You have to drag it to where you want to split it. And then we can change it on this little icon changes where you are, like what window, what editor type, as it says right here. What editor type you have open. So the one we would want to use is Video Sequence Editor. So we can select that by left clicking. We always left click to select menus in Blender. Unless you're doing something else like this, inserting keyframe and stuff like that. We will always left click if you're selecting things like menus, like buttons, like these buttons here, these input boxes. Okay, so now let's go ahead and select Video Sequence Editor. And as you can see, I already have audio added in here. And I added that in by clicking Add, and then clicking Sound, and then selecting my music. So you have to browse to your music. I'm going to go and look for my music. I found my music. Okay, I want this song. I'm going to select Add Sound Strip, and it's going to add in another one because I already have one in there. And I don't want two, so I'm just going to delete the other one. And that's how you add it in. Click Add, click Sound, then you browse to where you want to what music you want. So you can go to users, you can go to your name, your music, you can go look for your music, add it in. Then once you press Alt A, boom, you should be able to hear the music that you're playing back. Alt A, all that does is it starts the animation. That's the quick hotkey for starting the animation. Or you can just click the play button right here. You can click that and it will start playing the animation. So that is that. We put the audio in. Make sure your volume is up as always. That's another thing you can check just in case if you don't hear any sound, or maybe something's wrong with the sound card in your computer. That might be another reason why you can't hear audio. Make sure you stick some headphones into the headphone jack. Make sure all the volume's up like I said, and everything should be good. After you do all this, you should be able to hear sound in Blender. So let's move on to adding the colors to the audio visualizer. Let's select one piece of the audio visualizer and customize that first. Let's go into the Materials tab over here. And if you want, you can go ahead and close this off by dragging this line. You can just drag it into the wall. Or if you're not going to use it later, if you're not going to use it at all later, or if you're not going to use it, you can right click on that line, click Join Area, and then left click. Make sure the arrow is not in here, make sure it's on the right. and then left click, and it will disappear. Okay, so we were going to the material tab. We were going to edit the color of this material on this audio visualizer. So let's make it emit. We're going to make it emit because we want light to emit from it. It just makes sense that we make it an emission material, the shader. We want the surface to be emission instead of diffuse. So you left click that, click on emission, and now we can change the color. Let's change this color to, I'm going to change it to blue. All you do is select this little box right here, the color box. It's set to white. So I'm going to select it and go to some bluish color. I'm going to get a lightish blue. And I'm going to change so that I can actually see this change in the viewport while I'm doing it. While I'm playing it back, I want to select the viewport color, just like I selected that one. I left click on it and then move it to the bluish color, or I can just click this dropper, the sample little button, and then select the same color I added up here. And we might want to set the strength to something like 5. That's probably good. And now what are we going to do about all of these? Well, all you have to do is select the first one, or you can just select all these actually. You can select all these objects. You can loop select them by pressing B on the keyboard. Maybe I'll turn on screencast keys. It might be helpful. I'm going to press B and then hold down the left mouse button, drag it, and while you're dragging it, keep holding it down, and then let go of it wherever you want when you're done selecting whatever you need to. And you don't have to select this lamp. It's probably better that you don't, but and as you notice down here, we selected these little objects, but that's okay. After we selected everything, now we have to hold down Shift on the keyboard. I don't know why the shortcut doesn't show up, but I'm selecting Shift. I'm holding that down on the keyboard, and now I'm going to right click on the blue cube. Right click. Now over here in the properties panel, the material should show up, and also the blue cube should be highlighted in a different color, showing you that that one was selected last, and you want it to be selected last. You want it to be the main object, the active object. So that is the active object, as you can see right now, because it's not orange like all of the rest of them, and the material is showing up right here. So what we want to do is link all of those to the material on this blue one. So the way we do that is we just selected that, so we're saying we want all of those to link the material to that one, or link the material from that one to all of those. So what we're going to do is press Control L on the keyboard. Oops, I messed it up. Control L. You hold down Control, then press L while you're holding down Control, and then you can let go of it. As long as the mouse doesn't move out of this menu, it won't disappear. And you can select Materials, because we're making it linked, making all of those linked to this one. The materials are going to be the same as that one. So let's click Materials, and now as you can see, all of those cubes that we selected before we selected that one, this main cube, are now the same color. They're all the same color. So that is very simple. Otherwise, if you did it the manual way, or the other way, would be by selecting each one and changing each color on each cube. But you don't need to do that. You can just select one, change it, and then select all the others, and then select the main one and press Control L, link the materials, and boom, it's there. It's so much, it just saves so much time. Okay, so now, oops, pressing Alt A. It's all blue like we want it to be. Now we want to make it glow. So the way we make it glow is by using the compositor, the node editor, I think. Yeah, it's not called the compositor anymore, I don't think. It's called the node editor. I don't know if it even was called a compositor. I don't know. It's pretty much it's a compositor though. I think you're doing compositing in it. So I will split this area just like I did earlier by right clicking on that line, splitting the area, making sure that I'm going up and not down here. I'm going up, left clicking, changing this window to the node editor. I could also just select this and then go to compositing. It has a default setup, but I'm just gonna, just for the sake of customization and, you know, doing it faster, I guess, just doing it right here within my own custom window setup. Okay, so let's get to making it glow. Right now, as you can see, where we went to the node editor, but this right now is editing the material of these objects. As you can see, it has the same thing right here. It has the color, it has the strength, the emission. It's an emission type of shader. The way we select the compositing for the scene, we just go click on this right here, and then we click on Use Nodes. And what we want to do first of all, this is the render layers node, and this is the composite node. This is the out. This is the in, or all the layers within Blender basically. This is you always have these two at least. And let's add in a viewer as well. We need a viewer. We can type it in on the add menu by pressing spacebar, or we can just click add right here. Go to, I believe it is output. Yes, it's output, and click viewer. You left click that. And then you can left click to place it. Just like you do in Blender, you can press G to move objects. You can press G to move a node. You can also press, you can border select it. You can press B to border select, and then G to grab and move them around. And whenever you connect nodes, you just left click on this little yellow thing or one of these gray little dots, circles, and you hold it down, and then you drag to another node, and then you connect it just by dragging into it like that. So we will just let's just connect this image, little connection, to the image on the viewer node. And let's go ahead and add a glare node, because that is what's going to create the glowing effect. All you have to do is press Shift A or spacebar. I think you can do spacebar. Let's try that. Let's just press spacebar, glare. Okay, you can't do spacebar, just so you know, okay? No spacebar. Press Shift A, and then you can search. And let's add in that glare node. Let's type in glare, and then you left click this. Boom. Now we have a glare node, and as you can see, it's connected to the mouse already automatically. And if you hover over one of these lines, it's like asking you, do you want to connect to this one? Do you want to connect to this one? Every time you hover over it. And we do. So let's just left click wherever. You left click on either one, and then just disconnect that one, and then just connect from the glare node. Left click and drag it down to the viewer node. And there we go. We connected it to the viewer node, and now if we render this, there should be a glare. And what we want to do is move the animation to a different time on the timeline. Just like this. I'm dragging with the left mouse button in the timeline window down here. I'm going to drag to something like 55. And I'm going to press F12 on the keyboard. Boom. Renders an image, and already you can see it's glowing. Just from the work that we just did, just from this node setup, it's already glowing. And we can select backdrop to be able to see what it looks like, and it will automatically update every time we change a setting. As you can see there, I'm changing the iterations, which is like the quality, I'm pretty sure. So like if you lower it, it looks a lot better at 5 iterations. I'm going to set the quality to high. And is that really quality? Just the glare iterations. I thought it was. Not sure. I think. I usually use fog glow though. That adds a interesting glow effect. Some people don't like that though. You can add in a streaks effect. You can also duplicate this, add it twice to add multiple effects. You can add ghosts and streaks. That makes a pretty interesting effect. You can also add fog glow and streaks. It'll add in some streaks and glow. You can change the size right here by left clicking on either of these little arrows. You can change it to really small or really big. You can also change the threshold. There's a lot of more advanced stuff though. It's a lot more of the details. You can even change these and see what each one does, and that's how you can figure it out. You can change the threshold to lower so that it'll pick up lower brightness, basically. It'll pick up things that aren't as bright as some things. If you set it higher, the threshold, it won't allow a certain amount of brightness to come through, and it won't affect that. It won't try to change it and make it glow. So that is it for today. I will see you guys on another tutorial. Thank you so much for requesting TKG Psychotics. You requested this tutorial, and I thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial, and thank you so much for subscribing. It has been an awesome year so far, 2016, and I hope to make more tutorials. I hope for it to be even better and improve. I hope, it's just going to be great. So thank you guys so much. It's been awesome. I will see you guys in the next tutorial.